what's the best way of approaching it? I found it really interesting. There's a huge tactical advantage in playing going, do I take that risk to capture it quicker, but I'm exposed and not using that cover system that you mentioned? And do you have, from your playtests, have you how much have you kind of seen players like kind of working together to capture a point? Do you see a load of people just jumping all onto the middle, taking a risk, or do you see like a couple of people pushing forwards while one captures it quickly?
You see all different approaches.
You've seen it all.
But I think, especially in domination, it pays off to think not just the second-to-second tactics of an encounter, but also strategically. Like, are we going to hold our home point, or are we going to push deep and trying to control the middle and their home point, etc. So I tend to rush out and try to capture through active input.
Yeah. This is a good question for chat right now, actually, right? What would you do? Game of domination, would you kind of just try capture it quickly, or would you just rush out? Okay, let us know in the chat.
Someone in chat did say how important is the cover, and the cover is so important in this game because, like, you have to work quite hard to sort of chunk the enemy's armor down and get them to a point where they're actually killable. And if you're not behind cover, you're probably going to get teamed up on. You know, it's quite important to make sure your position is good, which is something I'm terrible at. So I'm just kind of running around in the open, like having a good time out here. But
it's a good point to actually point out. Speaking of armor, like people watching, if you know the first game, you'll notice that now you as a player and other players have the same type of armor mechanic as we saw on the enemies. This really helps us in PvP, that you have this percentage total of your total health, if you will, being represented by armor that doesn't regen within combat, and there's actually some time to use an armor kit, so that the snap heal element is not there in the same way. Yeah. So you have to be more cautious about how you manage your health and your armor.
Absolutely.
So if you've taken a battery, you need to kind of sit back and kind of get yourself back prepared, kind of,
and work with that bar versus your means of getting it back up.
Yeah.
Either through your own kits or through skills, but being down to 0 armor, you're working only with your health bar that do regenerate is dangerous.
Also, number one rule I just noticed, right? Number one rule in gaming: don't walk in the fire.
I don't know what you're talking about. I wanted to see how bad it was. It's quite intense seeing a hose of fire coming at you.
Wrecked.
I think I'm spawn camping here as well. Sorry.
Also, for everyone who's getting whispered Division beta codes, remember to go to thedivisiongame.com/redeem to redeem those, so you can get access to the beta on the 7th to the 11th of February. So if you get whispered code, keep an eye on the chat.
Those are the guys that posted the video that fucking ended up having to take it down.
www.thedivisionGame.com/redeem.
I did see a lot of people in chat saying they would rush to get the objective.
I saw that as well. Mateus has got the right idea, right? I'd be straight up with you there. I'd kind of be running forward and then shouting at Leah for why she's not helping me.
I think they kind of gave up at this point. As you can see, the score's not really very fair. Hopefully we'll get to see, there was another game we did some sniping. It was quite fun, actually. We teamed up with one of my teammates who had a shield, and I ran behind him sniping people while he sort of protected me with a shield. So it's quite fun. It did show that there's quite a lot of different ways to play if you want to. If you want to, you could probably get away with being a lone wolf and getting them from behind if you wanted to. Benny.
I have no idea what you're on about, right? It is my approach. So those two games, what can we kind of expect from PvP at launch? Like from what we've seen so far, so we've seen domination, and we've seen
saw 2 maps there, I think.
We saw 2 maps.
Yeah. So apart from the monster scope of PvP under the umbrella of Dark Zone, the PvE PvP experience that is, Conflict will release with domination and skirmish, and 3 dedicated bespoke maps. Okay. And then of course we will make PvP an equal and important part of our post-launch. Yeah. More details on that later.
By the way, there's a trailer we're about to watch for the Dark Zone. I don't know if you're aware, but there's a Dark Zone trailer.
Yeah, it might have been. The scores look a little bit fairer there, so that might have been the game. Let's have a look. See if we get it out. Nah, this is not that game. This is the other map though that we didn't get to see. So this one looks quite interesting too. Another domination map.
Right.
Actually using this.
Oh, so this is the crossbow using the crossbow.
You almost stuck it there.
So once again, so the ones that we've seen so far from the specialization weapons, you've got the crossbow. What kind of the benefits using the crossbow would you say compared to using like the Barrett 50 cal?
The crossbow is. I think if you know the first game, I like to make the comparison with the sticky bomb, So it deals a bit of impact, impact damage, but it sticks to its target or whatever you hit.
Yeah.
And then it deals damage in an area as well as very direct damage on the targets, and it is delayed effect and also delayed gratification, meaning that if you manage to stick that guy we saw and he goes around the corner, that damage will still happen.
Yeah. So if he comes into his team, then
and then they will
chain reaction.
I will be the person running into my team.
And in PvE, it really excels as an armor buster.
Yeah.
So it's like chipping off the destructible armor plating. Yeah.
But talking about teams.
Hey, there's a trailer we gotta watch.
Two is clans, right? So why have you gone ahead and added clans?
Oh, clans! Hold on, shh.
Many reasons.
Stop.
Yeah, but
a long list.
We really said, well, not least because it was a really requested feature by the community.
Yeah.
And we really set out to make. We said like we're gonna make the most accessible clan system ever.
Hey.
Good. Why? How is it accessible? How would you go about joining a clan, for example?
Well, so that's the beauty of it. Like everything is 100% in game. Like you creating, managing, searching, all of that stuff just happens straight from the menu. It's at your fingertips, literally.
Right.
And the reason why clans is great for us, I mean, the Division is in its DNA, the game you can play solo, but it's very much online. So playing with others and having the tools to find like-minded groups, what you want to play primarily, when, where in the world you are, sharing an identity, a visual identity too, because you're going to be able to create your own clan banners.
Yeah.
Clan banners, boys.
Be present in your clan space, actual physical
clan space.
Physical clan space. Awesome.
Yeah. Yo.
It's great for that. Just organizing socially.
Yeah.
But it's also a great place for mentoring. Actually, where I think a lot of players express that, like, I would love to help someone who's less advanced of a Division player than me to become better. And those, I bet you we're going to see those type of clans that form that say like, hey, come join us and we'll help.
Come do this raid with us, or come go do this mission with us and learn.
Nah, only elite players in my clan.
What I found with any game I've ever played is you just improve so much by learning from players that have had more hours. Like when I hop on a game with a friend of mine and they've put 100 hours, it's like, oh, did you know about this? And you're like, no, I didn't know about that. That's like, and then you start using that a lot more, and it's going to give you a big advantage kind of when you get to that end game content. Exactly. And it's just kind of, because you want to bring up your friends, you want to bring up people you meet in the game to kind of have those.
Yo, TKN coming back night or what, bro?
One of the keywords there for clans, raids. Like once again, we're really investing into end game for the Division 2.
Thank God.
We have
do something after the damn end game.
The first one coming shortly after launch.
You guys want to watch the trailer now, or do you want to keep watching the live stream? There's a Dark Zone trailer we can watch real quick.
And beat the raid together with 7 other players. Clans is fantastic too.
Absolutely, because I mean, it's not like many of us have 7 friends who are in the same level of a game with us that we can actually raid with. So.
Where's one of the reasons that I know a lot of people have used like Xbox clubs in the past is to find other players to kind of bring together to do those like difficult objectives of games. So it's like a brilliant feature to do. Bring new people, to meet new people as well who are like-minded and are gonna try and do that progression with you.
Yeah. Well, speaking of progression, what is the benefit of joining a clan? Like, what do we sort of?
Well, apart from all the social elements, right? It's you're gonna have some.
Alright, let's watch the trailer real quick. I haven't watched it either, boys, so hold on. You guys ready? I haven't watched it either. Put your volumes up. Hold on, let me put these volumes up real quick. I think I have them all up. Oh, no, I don't. Alright, let's watch this shit. Here we go. Dark Zone trailer, boys. Oh, shit!
Welcome to the Division 2 Agent Briefing. Dark Zones and Conflict. 7 months after the virus outbreak, Washington, D.C. is on the brink of collapse, threatening the fate of the entire country. You, agents of the Division, are the last line of defense. At launch, the Division 2 will offer a realistic and immersive experience, including an accessible range of online multiplayer activities across 3 new Dark Zones and Conflict, our organized PvP modes. After attempts to eradicate the virus failed, quarantined areas quickly formed and an insufficiently tested chemical was deployed, DC-62. The results were devastating. DC-62 proved to be just as lethal and left a path of desolation across concentrated areas of the city. Dark Zone, the Division's intense mix of PvP and PvE, is returning. The Dark Zone is a unique environment filled with rewards, where anything can happen and no one can be trusted. Agents will now be able to access 3 different Dark Zones, each with its own distinct environment, landmarks, and challenges, and with up to 12 players sharing the same zone. The 3 different Dark Zones host a wide variety of environments and gameplay, providing players with a renewed experience and different challenges every time they play. The walled-off Dark Zones have remained untouched by scavengers, leaving these areas filled with high-level equipment. But some of these items are toxic and will need to be extracted before they can be used. Agents can obtain equipment by clearing landmarks, taking down enemy factions, or securing supply drops, but also by embracing new ways to play as they turn against other agents. This is classified as going rogue. Rogue agents can now lockpick supply crates, steal other agents' contaminated gear before extraction, and hack SHD terminals to obtain valuable resources. But some still prefer a more radical approach, at the risk of becoming a target of their own. There are now 3 different rogue statuses that present players with a variety of ways to combat other agents in the Dark Zones, whenever they choose. Dark Zones are an experience where players need to balance risk with reward. They are normalized environments where all players have the chance to succeed. Automated turrets guard the entry points and protect newcomers from predatory rogue agents and enemies. This gives players the freedom to engage in their very own playstyle without being overpowered by veteran agents. While Dark Zones remain an accessible challenge, Occupied Dark Zones, our most brutal version of the Dark Zone, will also be available at launch. With no rules to keep anyone safe and higher rewards, this will be a true contest for survival of the fittest. Conflict, our organized PvP experience for the Division 2, will also be available at launch. Conflict modes pitch a team of 4 SHD agents against a team of 4 rogue agents across domination and skirmish game modes in 3 new maps located outside of the main story. These modes feature their own progression system, granting rewards that players can bring back in the main open world of the Division 2. In domination, teams battle for control of 3 capture zones. Stay in the zone with your team, or perform special actions to keep scoring and deny the zone to the opposing team, using your skills and agent toolbox wisely.
What the hell?
In skirmish, each team aims at reducing the opposing team reinforcement to 0. This mode supports intense and highly tactical engagements where communication is the key to victory when aiming for the top of the leaderboard. The Division 2's Conflict and Dark Zones experience will continue to evolve as part of our commitment to post-launch, and players can look forward to new areas and new modes in the coming months. You will decide how you will want to achieve your mission, as a team or standing alone. Agents, welcome to the Division 2.
Ow! 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 We lit, boys! Whoa, 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 whoa. We are lit. Bro. What we saying? What we saying? Yo, domination or what, boys? What we saying?
Who's gonna be?
Bro, if we could make domination into the competitive side of the division, could you imagine fighting another sweat team in domination and going, bro, get A, get B. Yo, we lit. We are lit.
So there's another change as well that I think is worth talking about, and that's voice over IP.
We are lit.
In the Division 1, it's kind of maybe a little bit prone to toxicity.
Camper check was.
People could kind of be a bit
well, they did say it's for veteran players, not to camp the new players.
Yeah, the Dark Zone specifically.
Yeah, we. So that's actually.
Yo, that shit lit. What's the other one? What other one? What other one, bro? Is there another one? Hold on. Let me see. Stop playing. Let me find out. Oh shit, there is another one. Oh fuck, wait, there is there? New Dark Zones. Which one did we just watch? We just watched the Division 2 multiplayer trailer. The Division. Oh, we haven't watched this one. What the fuck? Hold on. Yo! Shh! Shh!
Nice. Tons of loot. Oh.
The Dark Zone. It's lawless. It's lucrative. It's plural? That's right. In the Division 2, there are 3 distinct Dark Zones, each claiming its own unique neighborhood of Washington, D.C., and each with its own stories to tell.
She needs help. That yellow shit is blowing all over the place. You want to be next?
They are dangerous places where you can hunt and be hunted by both enemy factions and other players. And the dynamics are evolving to give you new reasons to go rogue and more ways to score sweet gear.
Initiating rogue protocol.
But the Dark Zones aren't the only multiplayer option we checked out. We also went a few rounds with the new organized PvP modes. Here's what we learned. Crime pays. There's a new way to go rogue for fun and profit in the Dark Zone. Become a thief. Break into a locked chest or steal the entire contents of a DZ drop, and you'll earn more loot than you normally would. You'll also be marked rogue and become vulnerable to attack from your fellow agents.
Watch out, there's one coming for you.
But your thievery will reveal a hidden signal. Follow it by completing more rogue actions, and you can eventually unlock a secret entrance to the Thieves' Den. In the Thieves' Den, you'll have access to a special vendor with valuable wares, and you'll have your rogue status cleaned and cleared. Clean loot. Dark Zone extractions are a tempting target for players looking to go rogue and rob their fellow agents. So securing your contaminated loot is always a bit risky. However, in the Division 2, some of the loot you find in a Dark Zone will be clean. That means you can equip it whenever you like, and you can't lose it if you die, so your DZ runs will be that much more lucrative. Normalization. If a player with powerful gear rolls up on a player with weak gear, the results could be messy.
Oh, get stuck.
That's where normalization comes in. In the Division 2, most Dark Zones will be normalized, which means all gear and weapon stats are brought within a narrow range, so no one totally outclasses anyone else.
No!
While you can still take your prey down quickly with a clever ambush, you now have a better chance to react, survive, and decide whether you want to retreat or push the engagement.
We're being equalized!
Flanking right.
Down, I'm down.
Occupied Dark Zones. Did you catch how I said most Dark Zones will be normalized? Well, once you reach the end game, Dark Zones will start becoming occupied for set periods of time. We can't show you one just yet, but we can tell you that an occupied Dark Zone is not normalized.
Got another one down.
So every ounce of juice you can squeeze out of your gear will give you an edge. Furthermore, there are no icons telling you who is rogue and who is not. And friendly fire is always on. Kinda makes you wonder, what sort of loot is in store for players willing to brave those conditions? Shades of Rogue.
It's lit!
Take this short quiz to discover how rogue you are. Have you just entered a Dark Zone or only been fighting enemy factions? You are not rogue. Other players can't damage you unless they are rogue. Have you broken into a chest, stolen an entire DZ drop, or held down the button to toggle you and your teammates rogue?
Rogue protocol initiated.
Then you are rogue. You can attack other players to earn XP, gain currency, and steal their loot, but any other player can try to take you out. Have you turned rogue and taken out another player? You are now disavowed rogue.
Your agent's task is disavowed.
The red icon means you are more visible on the map to other players, so watch your back. Finally, have you really leaned in to the disavowed rogue thing and killed a bunch of other agents? Then you have reached your final form, Manhunt Rogue.
Manhunt now in effect.
All players are alerted to your presence. The bounty on your head is sizable. Knowing the 4 Dark Zone states is essential to living your best Dark Zone life, as is knowing how to clear them. Letting your timer expire without performing rogue actions. Visiting the Thieves' Den. Dying and respawning, or hacking a Manhunt terminal are reliable ways to get clean. But if you want to double down, you can sabotage the Manhunt terminal. This will make your Manhunt more difficult, but also more rewarding. Just remember, you still have to find and access another terminal to lose the Manhunt and get your loot. Ease into it. Now, if you're having visions of getting jumped by other players immediately upon entering a Dark Zone, fear not. Your first visit to a Dark Zone will be a PvE mission, so you'll only have enemy factions to worry about. These missions give you a chance to learn how that Dark Zone turned dark, and get to know the lay of the land. For example, one of the DZs began as a depot for shipments of military gear, so be on the lookout for places that you can use the shipping containers and rail cars to your advantage. And keep an eye on the vegetation as well. Washington, D.C. is pretty overgrown these days, and the tall grass can obscure your position while you make sure nobody messes with your loot extraction.
Cargo loaded, ready to go.
Organized PvP. When you just want to mix it up with your fellow agents, Conflict is the place to do it. This is where you'll find organized PvP, with 3 custom-made maps and 2 modes at launch, Skirmish and Domination.
Yep, here they come.
Point Alpha was captured by your team.
These fights will be normalized, just like the Dark Zones, and they'll be set up with skill-based matchmaking.
He's right here.
Conflict will have its own progression track and rewards, although I think we can all agree that scaring the crap out of other players with explosive crossbow bolts is a reward unto itself. You're going to learn a lot more about the Division 2 in the lead-up to launch on March 15th. You can pre-order now to guarantee your access to the upcoming private beta, or register on the official Division 2 site for a chance to get in. Be sure to stay up to date on the latest Division news by subscribing to this YouTube channel and by visiting us at news.ubisoft.com.
Alright, whoa. The main thing, hold on, let me put back the mixer voice. The main thing I heard was that the Dark Zones are gonna be normalized, which means what the fuck was I gonna say? What the fuck was I gonna say? Oh, the Dark Zones are gonna be normalized until a certain point. So the Dark Zones, the gear is gonna be like similar to everybody else's, so that nobody overpowers nobody. But once you get past that level, there's going to be a Dark Zone where it's like the old Dark Zone, where everything goes, where you just shoot the fuck out of people. There's friendly fire, all that shit that Division had back in the day. Yo, that's where the big boys are gonna be, bro. That is where the big boys are gonna be. Telling you right now.
The benefits and enjoyment you'll get from exploration this time around.
Dude.
Make sure that
Yeah.
Go off the beaten path.
Yeah. Just don't get
Right. So
that is where the big boys are gonna be, dude.
What probably wants to know is the key dates, right, that we've got. So when can people get their hands on the game to give it a go?
March 15th on Xbox One,
yeah,
PlayStation 4, and PC.
Yeah, and remember as well the private beta, right, which you can get access to if you pre-order the game. It's available from the 7th to the 11th of February, which is it's incredibly exciting. I can't wait. And we're going to be streaming that here on Xbox On, so do make sure to follow the channel if you're not already. Yeah, and when will we be seeing a little bit more info about like the PvE or other areas of the game that we've not really had a chance to look at?
Soon.
Soon.
Soon. Very ominous.
And how are players also going to be able to get involved in the beta? Right, so we've gone over. Oh, so I've already answered my own question. I've already said the question. Redeem the codes, and if you're being whispered one in the chat, you have them right there. But it has been an awesome stream. So should we quickly kind of summarise everything we've gone over so far, and we've kind of seen for the first time right here on the stream. So first of all, Tom Clancy's Division 2 will offer a gigantic, right, and generous experience at launch, including a meaningful story campaign, right, diverse multiplayer activities, and a genre-defining end-game experience. Division 2 will also continue to grow post-launch and regular new content, seasonal events, and 8-player raids and more. I can't wait for 8-player raids. It's going to be awesome. I know, with the specializations and stuff as well. It's like, bro, it's really lit. A lot of class optimization. I just can't wait to see like kind of the hear the communication between everyone, and kind of like the coordination and seeing what we've got in store. It's going to be so much fun. Taking learnings from the original game and feedback from the community, Tom Clancy's The Division 2 has refined the Dark Zones formula, which will deliver richer and fairer competitive environments for all players across 3 separate zones. Right, and also Tom Clancy's Division 2, new Dark Zones will offer something for every agent, whether you're... Bro, hold on, fuck all of that. Hold on, dude. Can we rewatch this again? Hold on. Where is the part where they say that... Hold on.
Occupied Dark Zones.
Yes, this shit right here. Listen to this shit right here. Listen to this right here, bro. Listen to this.
Occupied Dark Zones. Did you catch how I said most Dark Zones will be normalized? Well, once you reach the end game, Dark Zones will start becoming occupied for set periods of time. We can't show you one just yet, but we can tell you that an occupied Dark Zone is not normalized.
Got another one down.
So every ounce of juice you can squeeze out of your gear will give you an edge. Furthermore, there are no icons telling you who is rogue and who is not. And friendly fire is always on.
There is no icons telling you who is rogue and who is not, bro. It's just gonna be all out shooting the fuck out of each other.
Kinda makes you wonder what sort of loot is in store for players willing to brave those conditions. Shades of Rogue. Take this short quiz to discover how rogue you are. Have you just entered a Dark Zone or only been fighting enemy factions?
Dude, it's finna be lit. It is finna be lit. Bro, what's up? What I heard from what they said, oh, it ended. Wait, what the fuck? What happened? Oh, yeah, the stream ended. Lol. Alright. Did it end? Yeah, it ended. Okay. What I heard, what's up, from the clans, bro, is that clans are gonna have their own unique space, dude. So, like, you're gonna have your own unique building with clan banners, so like emblems and shit. Bro. Alright, hold on. Let me watch this again, and I'm gonna pause at certain spots. I'm gonna rewatch this, and I'm gonna pause in different spots, like I said. So don't get mad with me. I just want to see a few things, and we'll talk about a few things. You guys can give me your opinions and whatnot. But hold on, let's see.
Welcome to the Division 2 Agent Briefing, Dark Zones and Conflict. 7 months after the virus outbreak, Washington, D.C. is on the brink of collapse, threatening the fate of the entire country. You, agents of the Division, are the last line of defense. At launch, the Division 2 will offer a realistic and immersive experience, including an accessible range of online multiplayer activities across 3 new Dark Zones and Conflict are organized.
Okay. So there are 3 Dark Zones. Right? Unless I missed something, every Dark Zone is going to be unique. So I believe it's going to be like in one of them, things are going to be normalized. In another one, things are going to be a certain way, and then the other one, things are going to be a certain way. By the way, they did say that Dark Zones only have 12 players, so that's 3 teams. So it's not going to be a bunch of people chasing one team anymore. What I'm thinking is we get these try-hard teams in there. It's just going to be a Dark Zone full of try-hards, dude. 12 people just going at it, right? Anyways, if you guys didn't hear, they did say the Dark Zones are going to be normalized. But they do have a new game mode called Domination and Scrimmage. We all know Scrimmage. But Domination, dude. I don't know about you guys, but I feel like you could make Domination into a fucking... like a competitive, dude. Can you imagine going against another team that's sweaty in fucking Domination, dude? Oh, it's gonna be lit.
PvP modes. After attempts to eradicate the virus failed, quarantined areas quickly formed and an insufficiently tested chemical was deployed, DC-62. The results were devastating. DC-62 proved to be just as lethal and left a path of desolation across concentrated areas of the city. Dark Zone, the Division's intense mix of
Ooh, y'all seen that door open? I know y'all seen that Dark Zone door open. Look at this door.
Dark Zone, the Division's intense mix of PvP and PvE is returning. The Dark Zone is a unique environment filled with rewards, where anything can happen and no one can be trusted. Agents will now be able to access 3 different Dark Zones, each with its own distinct environment, landmarks, and challenges.
Okay, 3 Dark Zones. Dark Zone West, Dark Zone East, and Dark Zone South. South seems to be the smallest one, West is the medium one, and East is the biggest one, and they're all spread around the map. Yo, son, I don't know about you guys, but it's kind of getting lit.
And with up to 12 players sharing the same zone.
Yep, 12 players sharing the same zone. Look at these fucks. Alright, we're not gonna say nothing about this half shield. Y'all see this half shield right here? It's gonna show up again. It's gonna show up again in the minute here. But look at this half shield, bro. Shields are coming back, dude. Rip.
The 3 different Dark Zones host a wide variety of environments and games.
Alright, but look at these cinematics though. You guys seeing these
The 3 different Dark Zones host a...
Look at that. Look at this. Look at this. It's beautiful. Hopefully they don't downgrade it too much, you know? Because I know Ubisoft likes to downgrade games. But I hope they don't. Look at that. That looks so nice.
Sharing the same zone. The 3 different Dark Zones host a wide variety of environments and gameplay, providing players with a renewed experience and different challenges every time they play. The walled-off Dark Zones have remained untouched by scavengers, leaving these areas filled with high-level equipment. But some of these items are toxic and will need to be extracted before they can
Look at this gun right here, dude. An SR1. That looks dope. By the way, damage drop off, dude. What the hell? Deal increased damage to enemies affected by blind. Rate of fire increase. Hey.
But some of these items are toxic and will need to be extracted before they can be used. Agents can obtain equipment by clearing landmarks, taking down enemy factions, or securing supply drops. But all
I know y'all see that long hair. That's long hair on a guy character, by the way, I'm pretty sure. I'm just saying that long hair, though.
Also by embracing new ways to play as they turn against other agents. This is classified as going rogue. Rogue agents can now lockpick supply crates, steal other agents' contaminated gear before extraction, and hack SHD terminals to obtain valuable resources. But some still prefer a more radical approach, at the risk of becoming a target of their own. There are now 3 different rogue statuses that present players with a variety of ways to combat other agents in the Dark Zones, whenever they choose. Dark Zones are an experience where players need to balance risk with reward. They are normalized environments where all players have the chance to succeed. Automated turrets guard the entry points and protect new...
Oh yeah, that's for you, boys. That's for you boys that's scared of the dark zone, that be coming in there talking about, I'm sick of getting killed by these formats. Here you go, your little turret, so you don't get clapped.
Comers from predatory rogue agents and enemies. This gives players the freedom to engage in their very own playstyle without being overpowered by veteran agents. While dark zones remain an accessible challenge, occupied dark zones are most brutal
Yo, the boys, these boys right here are gonna fuck us up. These boys right here, dude. Look at my man, got a nice ICR with a damn 4x scope, bro, or ACOG, whatever the hell you want to call it. These boys right here are gonna fuck us up.
Version of the dark zone will also be available at launch. With no rules to keep anyone safe and higher rewards, this will be a true contest for survival of the fittest. Conflict, our organized PvP experience.
Bro, what we saying with these looks though? That man got a bandana on. Also, what gun is he holding? Look at, what gun is this? Yo, what gun is that? Yo, these guns though. I'm saying these shits better be good. I like the way we looking. We looking fresh. We looking fresh.
For the Division 2 will also.
Oh, the boys in red. I see it. I see it. Yo, these outfits look clean, bro. Dude, I really hope they have some sort of like free roam tool where you can take shots like this, you know? So you can take pictures of yourself like this. It'll be dope, but I don't know. We'll see what happens.
To be available at launch.
Oh, look at the boys. Look at the boys. Look at that green hat. Hey.
Conflict modes pitch a team of 4 SHD.
Alright, I'm saying though, what do you guys think? You guys think Division can make this into competitive? If you can make some sort of private match with 2 teams of people you know, so 4 veteran players versus 4 veteran players in a domination, bro, it could be intense as hell. I'm just saying.
Agents against a team of 4 rogue agents across domination and skirmish game modes in 3 new maps located outside of the main story. These modes feature their own progression system, granting rewards that players can bring back in the
winner number 1, wrecking crew, can dodge bullets, mode, general, okay.
Main open world of the Division 2. In domination, teams battle for control of 3 capture zones. Stay in the zone with your team, or perform special actions to keep scoring and deny the zone to the opposing team, using your skills and agent toolbox wisely. In skirmish, each team aims at reducing the opposing team reinforcement to 0. This mode supports intense and highly tactical engagements where communication is the key to victory when aiming for the top of the leaderboard.
We already watched it, Rusty. I'll play it again though afterwards. I'll play it again, and you guys can rewatch it. But we already watched it twice, you forehead. That's why I'm talking about it now, because we already watched it. But I'll let it play after I'm done. Okay.
The Division 2's Conflict and Dark Zones experience will continue to evolve as part of our commitment to post-launch, and players can look forward to new areas and new modes in the coming months. You will decide how you will want to achieve your mission, as a team or standing alone. Agents, welcome to the Division 2.
Bro, it's lit. Alright, I'll play it for you guys, so you guys can watch the whole thing all together, and then we'll play the other one more time, and then we'll talk about it, yeah? Alright, cool. That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna watch this again without any interruptions, so you guys don't bitch at me, and then we'll watch the other one fully, and then we'll talk about it. Alright, here we go.
Welcome to the Division 2 Agent Briefing. Dark Zone. Welcome to the Division 2 Agent Briefing. Dark Zones and Conflict. 7 months after the virus outbreak, Washington, D.C. is on the brink of collapse, threatening the fate of the entire country. You, agents of the Division, are the last line of defense. At launch, the Division 2 will offer a realistic and immersive experience, including an accessible range of online multiplayer activities across 3 new Dark Zones and Conflict, our organized PvP modes. After attempts to eradicate the virus failed, quarantined areas quickly formed and an insufficiently tested chemical was deployed, DC-62. The results were devastating. DC-62 proved to be just as lethal and left a path of desolation across concentrated areas of the city. Dark Zone, the Division's intense mix of PvP and PvE, is returning. The Dark Zone is a unique environment filled with rewards, where anything can happen and no one can be trusted. Agents will now be able to access 3 different Dark Zones, each with its own distinct environment, landmarks, and challenges, and with up to 12 players sharing the same zone. The 3 different Dark Zones host a wide variety of environments and gameplay, providing players with a renewed experience and different challenges every time they play. The walled-off Dark Zones have remained untouched by scavengers, leaving these areas filled with high-level equipment. But some of these items are toxic and will need to be extracted before they can be used. Agents can obtain equipment by clearing landmarks, taking down enemy factions, or securing supply drops, but also by embracing new ways to play as they turn against other agents. This is classified as going rogue. Rogue agents can now lockpick supply crates, steal other agents' contaminated gear before extraction, and hack SHD terminals to obtain valuable resources. But some still prefer a more radical approach, at the risk of becoming a target of their own. There are now 3 different rogue statuses that present players with a variety of ways to combat other agents in the Dark Zones, whenever they choose. Dark Zones are an experience where players need to balance risk with reward. They are normalized environments where all players have the chance to succeed. Automated turrets guard the entry points and protect newcomers from predatory rogue agents and enemies. This gives players the freedom to engage in their very own playstyle without being overpowered by veteran agents. While Dark Zones remain an accessible challenge, Occupied Dark Zones, our most brutal version of the Dark Zone, will also be available at launch. With no rules to keep anyone safe and higher rewards, this will be a true contest for survival of the fittest. Conflict, our organized PvP experience for The Division 2, will also be available at launch. Conflict modes pitch a team of 4 SHD agents against a team of 4 rogue agents across domination and skirmish game modes in 3 new maps located outside of the main story. These modes feature their own progression system, granting rewards that players can bring back in the main open world of The Division 2. In domination, teams battle for control of 3 capture zones. Stay in the zone with your team, or perform special actions to keep scoring and deny the zone to the opposing team, using your skills and agent toolbox wisely. In skirmish, each team aims at reducing the opposing team reinforcement to 0. This mode supports intense and highly tactical engagements where communication is the key to victory when aiming for the top of the leaderboard. The Division 2's Conflict and Dark Zones experience will continue to evolve as part of our commitment to post-launch, and players can look forward to new areas and new modes in the coming months. You will decide how you will want to achieve your mission, as a team or standing alone. Agents, welcome to The Division 2.
Okay, now this is the other one, by the way. So once again, it's a fucking long ass video, but yo, this one right here is dope though. Yeah, I don't know, Briggs, where did they say there's no game chat? Cause that's gonna suck ass if there's no game chat, bro. That's gonna be dumb if they don't have game chat. I mean, they'll probably bring it in eventually, I feel like. But if there's no game chat, honestly, it's not even a bad thing, to be honest with you. But who knows? We'll see. I'm pretty sure they'll bring it back in, though. Because I don't know if you guys remember, but they did take out game chat for a while when it was lagging out. You guys remember? But all right, I'm gonna play this one through again because a lot of people are telling me to just play it and stop talking, and then afterwards we'll talk about it, and then we'll see what happens. But yeah, anyways, let me mute myself and I'll play.
Nice. Tons of loot. Oh.
The Dark Zone. It's lawless. It's lucrative. It's plural? That's right. In the Division 2, there are 3 distinct Dark Zones, each claiming its own unique neighborhood of Washington, D.C., and each with its own stories to tell.
She needs help. That yellow shit is blowing all over the place. You want to be next?
They are dangerous places where you can hunt and be hunted by both enemy factions and other players. And the dynamics are evolving to give you new reasons to go rogue and more ways to score sweet gear.
Initiating rogue protocol.
But the Dark Zones aren't the only multiplayer option we checked out. We also went a few rounds with the new organized PvP modes. Here's what we learned. Crime pays. There's a new way to go rogue for fun and profit in the Dark Zone. Become a thief. Break into a locked chest or steal the entire contents of a DZ drop, and you'll earn more loot than you normally would. You'll also be marked rogue and become vulnerable to attack from your fellow agents.
Watch out, there's one coming for you.
But your thievery will reveal a hidden signal. Follow it by completing more rogue actions, and you can eventually unlock a secret entrance to the Thieves' Den. In the Thieves' Den, you'll have access to a special vendor with valuable wares, and you'll have your rogue status cleaned and cleared. Clean loot. Dark Zone extractions are a tempting target for players looking to go rogue and rob their fellow agents. So securing your contaminated loot is always a bit risky. However, in the Division 2, some of the loot you find in a Dark Zone will be clean. That means you can equip it whenever you like, and you can't lose it if you die, so your DZ runs will be that much more lucrative. Normalization. If a player with powerful gear rolls up on a player with weak gear, the results could be messy.
Oh, get stuck.
That's where normalization comes in. In the Division 2, most Dark Zones will be normalized, which means all gear and weapon stats are brought within a narrow range, so no one totally outclasses anyone else. While you can still take your prey down quickly with a clever ambush, you now have a better chance to react, survive, and decide whether you want to retreat or push the engagement.
They're flanking right. Flanking right.
Down, I'm down.
Occupied Dark Zones. Did you catch how I said most Dark Zones will be normalized? Well, once you reach the end game, Dark Zones will start becoming occupied for set periods of time. We can't show you one just yet, but we can tell you that an occupied Dark Zone is not normalized.
Got another one down.
So every ounce of juice you can squeeze out of your gear will give you an edge. Furthermore, there are no icons telling you who is rogue and who is not. And friendly fire is always on. Kinda makes you wonder what sort of loot is in store for players willing to brave those conditions. Shades of Rogue. Take this short quiz to discover how rogue you are. Have you just entered a Dark Zone or only been fighting enemy factions? You are not rogue. Other players can't damage you unless they are rogue. Have you broken into a chest, stolen an entire DZ drop, or held down the button to toggle you and your teammates rogue?
Rogue protocol initiated.
Then you are rogue. You can attack other players to earn XP, gain currency, and steal their loot, but any other player can try to take you out. Have you turned rogue and taken out another player? You are now disavowed rogue.
Your agent status is disavowed.
The red icon means you are more visible on the map to other players, so watch your back. Finally, have you really leaned in to the disavowed rogue thing and killed a bunch of other agents? Then you have reached your final form, Manhunt Rogue.
Manhunt now in effect.
All players are alerted to your presence. The bounty on your head is sizable. Knowing the 4 Dark Zone states is essential to living your best Dark Zone life, as is knowing how to clear them. Letting your timer expire without performing rogue actions. Visiting the Thieves' Den. Dying and respawning. Or hacking a Manhunt terminal are reliable ways to get clean. But if you want to double down, you can sabotage the Manhunt terminal. This will make your manhunt more difficult, but also more rewarding. Just remember, you still have to find and access another terminal to lose the manhunt and get your loot. Ease into it. Now, if you're having visions of getting jumped by other players immediately upon entering a Dark Zone, fear not. Your first visit to a Dark Zone will be a PvE mission, so you'll only have enemy factions to worry about. These missions give you a chance to learn how that Dark Zone turned dark, and get to know the lay of the land. For example, one of the DZs began as a depot for shipments of military gear, so be on the lookout for places that you can use the shipping containers and rail cars to your advantage. And keep an eye on the vegetation as well. Washington, D.C. is pretty overgrown these days, and the tall grass can obscure your position while you make sure nobody messes with your loot extraction.
Cargo loaded, ready to go.
Organized PvP. When you just want to mix it up with your fellow agents, Conflict is the place to do it. This is where you'll find organized PvP, with 3 custom-made maps and 2 modes at launch, Skirmish and Domination.
Yep, here they come.
Point Alpha was captured by your team.
These fights will be normalized, just like the Dark Zones, and they'll be set up with skill-based matchmaking.
He's right here.
Conflict will have its own progression track and rewards, although I think we can all agree that scaring the crap out of other players with explosive crossbow bolts is a reward unto itself. You're going to learn a lot more about the Division 2 in the lead-up to launch on March 15th. You can pre-order now to guarantee your access to the upcoming private beta, or register on the official Division 2 site for a chance to get in. Be sure to stay up to date on the latest Division news by subscribing to this YouTube channel and by visiting us at news.ubisoft.com.
Nice. Tons of loot. Oh.
The Dark Zone. It's lawless. It's lucrative. It's plural? That's right. In the Division 2, there are 3 distinct Dark Zones, each claiming its own unique neighborhood of Washington, D.C., and each with its own stories to tell.
She needs help. That yellow shit is blowing all over the place. You want to be next?
They are dangerous places where you can hunt and be hunted by both enemy factions and other players. And the dynamics are evolving to give you new reasons to go rogue and more ways to score sweet gear.
Initiating rogue protocol.
But the Dark Zones aren't the only multiplayer option we checked out. We also went a few rounds with the new organized PvP modes. Here's what we learned. Crime.
I was muted, my bad. I was muted, my bad.
Nice. Tons of loot. Oh.
The Dark Zone.
I was saying that, look how the gate opens, bro. Ain't that dope? That's pretty cool. Like, the entrance to the Dark Zone has its own unique, like, little gate opening up. That's dope. It's like a little, you know, something small that makes it that much better.
It's lawless. It's lucrative.
It's lawless, by the way. No complaining about the Dark Zone anymore, boys. The Dark Zone is lawless.
It's plural? That's right. In the Division 2, there are 3 distinct dark zones, each claiming its own unique neighborhood of Washington, D.C., and each with its own story.
And then the echoes look different, obviously. They look, you know, a little bit better. But how much do we really care for echoes, you know? But either way, we're still going to get all of them. But, yeah, echoes are different.
Stories to tell.
She needs help. That yellow shit is blowing all over the place. You want to be next?
They are dangerous places where you can hunt and be hunted by both enemy factions and other players.
Okay, what the hell is this shock thing? What is that? What the hell did they just get shocked by?
Next.
They are dangerous places where you can hunt and be hunted by both enemy factions and other
Bro, they all just got shocked. I don't know if you guys see that, but all 3 of them just got shocked.
Players. And the dynamics are evolving to give you new reasons to go rogue and more ways to score sweet gear.
Initiating rogue protocol.
But the dark zones aren't the only multiplayer option we checked out. We also went a few rounds with the new organized PvP modes. Here's what we learned. Crime pays. There's a new way to go rogue for fun and profit in the...
Okay, so this first way to go rogue is by looting in the DZ. There are certain boxes, I'm guessing, that if you open them up, like this girl's doing here, you will be marked as rogue. Now, from what I understand is, this is like the first stop. Once you open this, there will be different little places in the dark zone where you can go and get more stuff, right? So this is like the first way to go rogue, by looting in the dark zone, which is like the, I guess, if you want loot, this is the way you go rogue, you know? But like I said, so she's opening that up. She's going to get a rogue timer. And then I believe on the map, it gets marked. As you can see right next to the little map on the top left, it says Thieves Den Triangulation 35%. Right? So from what I know is that she opens this. She has to go to certain different parts of the dark zone. And then she can go into this Thieves Den where there's like a vendor that sells you stuff that has different things in it. So that's what it seems like.
In the dark zone, become a thief. Break into a locked chest or steal the entire contents of a DZ drop and you'll earn more loot than you normally would. You'll also be marked rogue and become vulnerable to attack from your fellow agents.
Watch out, there's one coming for you.
But your thievery will reveal a hidden signal. Follow it by completing more.
Yep, like I said, see, there's different spots in the dark zone where you can go and gain more XP or more loot or whatever it is that eventually, as you can see, look at Thieves Den Triangulation is 40%. So now it's higher.
Rogue actions, and you can eventually unlock a secret.
Yep, a secret entrance to the Thieves Den.
Secret entrance to the Thieves Den. In the Thieves Den, you'll have access to a special vendor with valuable wares, and you'll have your rogue status cleaned and clear.
Right, exactly. So that is the first way of going rogue, by looting. You loot these boxes that make you go rogue. By the way, when you go rogue by these boxes, you can still get killed, so it's not like you're safe. But when you open these boxes, you go rogue, you go to these other different locations in the map or in the dark zone that eventually add up to you unlocking the secret vendor that lets you buy stuff, and it also clears your rogue status. That is one way to go rogue.
Clean loot. Dark zone extractions are a tempting target for players looking to go rogue and rob their fellow agents. So securing your contaminated loot is always a bit risky. However, in the Division 2, some of the loot you find in a dark zone will be clean. Yes. That means you can equip it whenever you like and you...
Okay, number 2. The dark zone in Division 1 did not have clean loot. Everything you got had to be extracted for you to be able to wear it. In Division 2, there's no need for that. Some of the things that drop, you will be able to equip them on the spot. You guys understand? That is what clean loot means. Clean loot is loot that you get into the dark zone that you can put on as you get it. There's no need to extract it. But there is also loot that you need to extract, just like Division 1. That is what clean loot is, if you're not understanding. Moving forward.
You can't lose it if you die, so your DZ runs will be that much more lucrative.
That was made for the people that were like, bro, I just spent 2 hours farming and this guy killed me and took it all. Which is a good thing, by the way. I don't mind them having loot that you can just put on when you get it. So, you know. Yeah, so that I'm okay with that.
Normalization. If a player with powerful gear rolls up on a player with weak gear, the results could be messy.
Oh, get stuck.
That's where normalization comes in. In the Division 2, most dark zones will be normalized, which means all gear and weapon stats are brought within a narrow range.
Okay, normalization. This is for the people that go into the dark zone with low gear and you end up fighting people that have better gear than you, you're obviously going to lose. So what they did for Division 2, they said most dark zones, which means it's probably 2 out of the 3 dark zones, will be normalized, which means everybody's gear is going to be around the same range. That way you can't complain about somebody having better gear than you, and that's why you lost. So now when you go into the dark zone, whichever 2 it is, because the guy said most dark zones and there's only 3. So when he says most, I'm assuming it's 2 out of the 3. So 2 out of these 3 dark zones are going to be normalized, which means everybody's gear is going to be balanced. That way you can't complain about somebody having better gear than you, and that's why you die. That is what normalized means.
So no one totally outclasses anyone else.
Right, see, this guy still gets melted, but that's because he's shooting him in the back. Like, I like the damage this guy did. I look at this damage this guy does, by the way. I like it. But like I said, the reason he killed him so fast is because he shot him in the back. But again, the gear is normalized, which means everybody's gear is around the same.
While you can still take your prey down quickly with a clever ambush, you now have a better chance to react, survive, and decide whether you want to retreat or push the engagement.
They're flanking right. Flanking right.
Down, I'm down. Oh, no.
Occupied dark zones. Did you catch how I said most dark zones will be normal?
Occupied dark zone is where the big boys are going to be. This is the place where there is going to be zero complaining. This dark zone right here is going to be the shit. This is going to be filled with tough NPCs, friendly fire, everything goes in this goddamn dark zone. So I better not hear not one of you complaining if you step foot in this dark zone right here. It's going to be 1 out of the 3 dark zones that is going to be a mess of just people shooting the fuck out of each other. So like I said, I better not hear you guys complain, but this dark zone right here is pretty much everything goes. Your gear is your gear. If somebody comes in here with low level gear and you got high level gear, you're gonna fuck them up. This is what this dark zone is. Alright, there's gonna be tough NPCs. Look at right there, right at the doorway, there's one of those new hunters or whatever the hell they are. This dark zone right here is gonna have friendly fire. Your gear is your gear. There's no balancing. Everything goes in this dark zone. Now let's watch it.
Normalized? Well, once you reach the end game, dark zones will start becoming occupied for set periods of time. We can't show you one just yet, but we can tell you that an occupied dark zone is not normalized.
Got another one down.
So every ounce of juice you can squeeze out of your gear will give you an edge. Furthermore, there are no icons telling you who is rogue and who is not. And friendly fire is always on. Kinda makes you wonder what sort of loot is in store for players willing to brave those conditions.
Yep. I'm telling you, that dark zone right there is where the big boys are gonna be. But he also said occupied dark zones is for a period of time. So what I'm assuming is 1 out of the 3 dark zones at different time periods is going to be occupied. So it might not be the same dark zone every time. It might change and be like south dark zone is occupied or north dark zone is occupied. You know what I mean? So it's pretty cool that they're going to change it like that. I find that cool.
Shades of Rogue. Take this short quiz to discover how rogue you are. Have you just entered a dark zone or only been fighting enemy factions? You are not rogue. Other players can't damage you unless they are rogue. Have you broken into a chest, stolen an entire DZ drop, or held down the button to toggle you and your teammates rogue?
Rogue 2.0, by the way, confirmed. Hold down the button that makes you flag up or go rogue. So Rogue 2.0 in Division 2, guys.
Rogue protocol initiated.
Then you are rogue. You can attack other players to earn XP, gain currency, and steal their loot, but any other player can try to take you out. Have you turned rogue and taken out another player? You are now disavowed rogue.
Your agent's task is disavowed.
Okay, So there's non-rogues, which is people that haven't shot at anybody, people that haven't done anything. You're just fighting NPCs. Rogue is when you first flag up, when you don't have a timer, but you are rogue. Whether you can get it by flagging up by holding the button, or you can get it by doing the whole loot box that makes you flag up. That is also rogue. Now, disavowed rogue is when you start shooting people.
The red icon means you are more visible on the map to other players, so watch your back. Finally, have you really leaned in to the disavowed rogue thing and killed a bunch of other agents? Then you have reached your final form.
And then your manhunt, which is when you kill the shit out of everybody, and now everybody knows where you're at, which is where the boys are gonna be. That is what we're gonna be. Manhunt all day.
Manhunt Rogue.
Manhunt now in effect.
All players are alerted to your presence. The bounty on your head is sizable. Knowing the 4 Dark Zone states is essential to living your best Dark Zone life, as is knowing how to clear them, letting your timer expire without performing rogue actions, visiting the Thieves' Den, dying and respawning, or hacking a manhunt terminal are reliable ways to get clean. But if you want to double down, you can sabotage the manhunt terminal. This will make your manhunt more difficult, but also more rewarding. Just remember, you still...
Okay, so when he said sabotaging the rogue terminal, so you guys know how in Division 1, after Rogue 2.0 came out, you go manhunt and you gotta go take it off at a certain location. It's pretty much the same thing, but it gives you 2 options. When you reach your terminal, you can either sabotage it, and it gives you more XP, more rewards, or you can clean it off. Right? You can either cleanse your rogue and you're not rogue anymore. So it gives you an option whether you want to continue and make the loot better, or you can just clear it and move on. Or you can die and respawn, or like they said, or you can visit so when you're rogue, you can clear it at the post right here where she's at right now. You can clear it there, move on. But if you sabotage it, you can keep going and clear it at the Thieves' Den, or you can just die. So there's different ways to clean your manhunt, not just go to the little box and clear it, you know.
You'll have to find and access another terminal to lose the manhunt and get your loot. Ease into it. Now, if you're having visions of getting jumped by other players immediately upon entering a Dark Zone, fear not. Your first visit to a Dark Zone will be a PvE mission, so you'll only have enemy factions to worry about.
Okay, so this is for the people that when the first game came out, they complained because, well, obviously if you're not a big fan of the game and you're just kind of getting into it and you don't know what you're doing, the second you walk into the Dark Zone in Division 1, you could just get jumped by 4 people and you're done. Right? There was no way to figure out where you were, what the Dark Zone was. You literally went in there and you were at risk of just getting jumped, and then you don't like the game. You're like, fuck this game, I just got killed by 4 people, I'm out. But in Division 2, it seems like the first mission you get in the Dark Zone is going to be PvE, which gives you a chance to look at the terrain, to look at where things are at, so you know where you're going to and what you're going to be doing and how everything is set up, right? So they give you a chance to learn the Dark Zone before you actually start fighting people or put yourself at risk of losing your gear, etc., etc.
These missions give you a chance to learn how that Dark Zone turned dark and get to know the...
Right, and it also gives you like a little storyline based on like what happened in the Dark Zone and why is the Dark Zone, right? So this PvE mission is pretty cool. It gives you a background to the Dark Zone. You know, it doesn't just tell you, oh, in there it's dangerous, you know, kind of like Division 1. So I'm actually excited to see all the little backstories to these Dark Zones because there's 3 of them.
The lay of the land. For example, one of the DZs began as a depot for shipments of military gear, so be on the lookout for places that you can use the shipping containers and rail cars to your advantage. And keep an eye on the vegetation as well. Washington, D.C. is pretty overgrown these days, and the tall grass can obscure your position while you make sure nobody messes with your loot extraction.
Cargo loaded, ready to go.
Organized PvP. When you just want to mix it up.
And then we have the... Well, yeah, I will. I don't have a problem with playing YouTubers' videos. I will watch them. I'll watch some. But I'm just explaining it as simple as I can. You know what I mean? I'm not going into depth. I'm just giving you guys, like, the most simple explanation. So, organized PvP is pretty much the game modes, kind of like scrimmage and last stand, where you have when you have an objective, and you have your teammates with you, and there's a timer, there's rules, etc. And it's also normalized, which means everybody's gear is balanced.
with your fellow agents, conflict is the place to do it. This is where you'll find organized PvP, with 3 custom-made maps and 2 modes at launch, Skirmish and Domination.
Yep, here they come.
Point Alpha was captured by your team.
These fights will be normalized, just like the Dark Zones, and they'll be set up with skill-based matchmaking.
Skill-based matchmaking. So, you're going to be paired up with people around the same skill as you, is what they're saying. So, you know, you can't complain about, oh, they put me in a match with players that were way too better than me or way too worse than me, you know. So, that's good. They're putting you up against players that are in your same skill level.
He's right here.
Alright, I'm here. I don't know. Refresh. Are you guys here? We're here, guys. Yeah, we're good. Just refresh. My bad. But yeah, so what I heard so far, like I said, so there's different ways to go rogue now. The only way to go rogue, let me go back to it. Okay, so there's different ways to go rogue.
Dark Zones.
Okay, you can do the little loot run where you open up these boxes in the Dark Zone and they make you flag up, and you can move on from there and go to the wolves, not the wolves den, the thieves den. And you can go rogue that way. You don't have to kill nobody to go rogue now. You can go rogue by looting in the Dark Zone, right? But you can still get killed by other players when you're rogue, by the way. So, to go rogue in the DZ, you don't have to kill somebody necessarily. You can also go rogue by holding down the button and killing people and go rogue that way, right? There's different ways to take off your manhunt. So, you can either take off your manhunt by going to the first... what is the drop off and you clear it there. That is one way to take off your manhunt. Another way to take off your manhunt is by completing the takeoffs, and you can either sabotage them or you can clear your manhunt. But when you sabotage it, it gives you XP and it gives you more loot and etc, and then eventually you get to the thieves den where you can clear it there as well. So there's different ways to clear your manhunt, and there's different ways to go rogue. After that, you got the normalized Dark Zones, which means the Dark Zones, the gear is all going to be balanced. You know, you can't complain about somebody else's gear being better than yours or being worse than yours, because most Dark Zones are going to be normalized, which means 2 out of the 3 half the time are going to be normalized. We also know that one of the Dark Zones is going to be an occupied Dark Zone, which means it's going to be tough in there. There's no equalizing, there's no balancing, there's friendly fire, there's like strong NPCs. So yeah, that occupied Dark Zone is where most of the veteran players are going to be. So if you know you're not a veteran player, you have no business going into the occupied Dark Zone, because you will get wrecked. There's friendly fire, there's hard NPCs, there's no balancing. Your gear is your gear in the occupied Dark Zone. Then we also know about the different rogue levels, which is non-rogue. There's regular rogue when you first flag up and you first become rogue by looting or whatever it is. Then there's disavowed rogue, which means you're killing people. And then there's manhunt when you've killed a bunch of people. Okay, and then the last thing in this trailer was the organized PvP, which is domination and scrimmage. Right, domination, we all know domination from Call of Duty. There's 3 different flags or objectives that you capture with your team, and then from there you gain points. Scrimmage now is backwards, I believe, because in Division 1 scrimmage was first person to 20 points, right? But in Division 2 scrimmage is each team has a certain amount of lives, and you got to get kills to reduce those lives until 0. So first team to get to 0 loses. Okay, that is pretty much it in this trailer. But somebody told me to watch Marco's video. I mean, I'm down to watch it. I don't care to show other people's videos, to be honest with you. Division 2, look at the new Dark Zone PvP. You guys, we'll watch this and then we'll end the stream, because, you know. We'll watch this video real quick and then we can move on. Oh, that is a pretty ass intro. Who made this? Oh my god, that is pretty. Look at that. Alright.
it seems that after a long wait, I'm finally allowed to talk about The Division 2. For those that sort of missed the whole situation, last month I was invited to Massive Studios to play and record some Division 2 PvP. But as usual with these kind of events, everybody that participates is required to sign an NDA, and then he will not be able to share anything that he recorded until the embargo date, which in this case is today. Before we get into everything though, I think it would be best to clear up some confusion about this whole event, because a lot of people seem to think that this was some event to test out the game and gather feedback, and lots of people got upset that so many YouTubers were invited that didn't...
Yeah, I don't know why so many people were upset that certain people didn't get invited. I'm sure, listen, to be completely honest with you, I am sure that Ubisoft has its preference to people that make videos on their game. I am 100% that they have a preference. Now, me personally, I don't care. I don't want to be nobody's preference. I don't care if they invite me. I don't care if they look at me. I don't care if they know me. All right. But I'm sure Ubisoft has its preferences. I don't know why people got so upset that certain people didn't get invited and other people did get invited. Most people were mad because most of the people that got invited to this event quit on the game. They stopped uploading videos on The Division, yet they still get some sort of, like, you know, special treatment, which is why so many people were upset. But, like, to be honest, like I said, in my opinion, I don't care.
Even cover the first game that much. So how would their feedback be worth more than some of the potential feedback that a hardcore player could give, YouTuber or not? But it wasn't that kind of event to test out the game. Sure, the developers are probably interested in the initial reception of the game, but all in all, it was a media capture event, which basically means that Ubisoft invited people with a YouTube or with another platform that would be able to promote their game. And that would be the #1 purpose of this whole thing, to record the game and then promote it through YouTubers.
Right, so pretty much they invited people that would get a lot of views. If you guys didn't understand what he said by that. He said that it was a media capture event, which means they invited people with a following so that they can promote their game, which is why a lot of the smaller people didn't get invited. They invited people that would be able to promote their game, which is a fucking smart move. If you ask me, you invite people that are gonna get you views, that are gonna make people want to buy your game. When something like this, you have to invite people that are up there like that in views wise, obviously.
Or other platform. That doesn't mean that they're not testing the game, of course, because as most of you also know, there have been some closed alphas between now and then, and there they have actually properly tested the game and gathered feedback and all that stuff. But this very media capture event that I was invited to, it was just for capturing the game and then promoting it. It mostly comes down to having an audience, of course, knowing the right people at Ubisoft, and mostly having a positive attitude towards the game. That's it. As to what it is that we actually did there, we played the game for about 2.5 hours. We played 1 hour of the Dark Zone, where our characters were level 10. Then 1 hour of Dark Zone with our characters being level 30, and also having the signature weapons unlocked. And then 20 minutes of skirmish PvP and 20 minutes of domination, which is also a PvP game mode. Although, with my play session in particular, the skirmish game mode had some technical difficulties, which prevented me from playing it altogether. But looking at the other guys that were there and looking at their footage, skirmish is basically identical to how it was in the Division 1. You're 4v4 and you just gotta try to kill the opponents. Everything that you're seeing here is played and also captured on the Xbox One X. I heard some people got to play on PC. I'm not sure if that's the case. I didn't see any PC setups prepared, but in a nutshell, that's what everybody did.
Okay, that's interesting. It's interesting how Ubisoft set up PS4 or console setups instead of PC. I mean, that seems something weird that they would do, don't you think? He said that they didn't have PC setups, which is interesting to me. I mean, maybe they're showing some more love to console?
Here. Everybody played 1 hour of Dark Zone, then another hour of Dark Zone with their characters being level 30, and then both of the game modes. That's it. There's also some strong guidelines in place for what I can still show you. For example, I am not allowed to show you a full zoom out of the map, because there might be some stuff on the map that the Ubisoft PR team doesn't want to reveal yet. But for those that just want to know, I can confirm that the map that we're seeing in the trailer is exactly the same one. It's exactly the same size as in the build that I played, so you can expect that to be in the final game. And also, I'm not allowed to show you any menus, because a lot of that stuff is still subject to change. So, you know, they don't want to show anything and then not...
Whoa, what is that? Oh, okay, never mind. That's Dark Zone location uncovered. Never mind.
Not promised.
I thought that was a pulse, but never mind.
So that's why. But I'm still allowed to, of course, show you pretty much everything else. But yeah, for...
All right, what are we saying with this shield, boys? What are our thoughts on this shield right here? So, from playing Division 1 so much and dealing with Division 1 shields, this is going to be a piece of cake because we're just going to shoot the fuck out of your legs. I'm just saying. Because this shield covers your torso. It does not cover from your waist down. So when this shield gets pulled up, I am beaming your legs. I'm just telling you right now. So I don't really mind this shield. I kind of like it. It's like reduced. It's not so bad, but it still gives people, you know, the chance to use a shield as a main builder. We'll see. I mean, how it turns out. But look at the detail in the backpacks. The backpacks look much better. Also, the guns look more realistic. I don't know if you guys have looked and been aware, but the guns look way more realistic. The attachments are different colors. Things look like they're fit together, you know, so that's also good. It just makes the game that much better.
Specific skills and their mods. We'll talk about all of that in tomorrow's video because there's actually so much to cover about everything that I can't cram it into one video.
Oh, whoa, never mind. They just pulled up a shit. So now they have a mini shield and a full shield. Ubisoft, what are you doing? Why? Why? There's a mini shield and there's a full shield, bro. Oh my god.
Decided to just separate it in different topics. And today's topic is going to be the Dark Zone. And before we begin, I should also mention that the build you're seeing here is of course not final. It's alpha. Most of the talents and icons that you see on screen are placeholders. A lot of talents don't even work yet. The game has very significant drops below 30 FPS and a good amount of screen tearing as well. You might be able to see some...
This man is running up to him on fire.
Alpha, most of the talents and icons that you see on screen are placeholders.
You see that, man?
A lot of talents don't even work.
Look at this man. The suicide bomber legit runs up on fire.
Yet the game has very significant drops.
You're right, actually. You are right. Let me change the title. You're definitely right, Lewis. I was gonna change it earlier. Alright.
Below 30 FPS and a good amount of screen tearing as well. You might be able to see some missing textures here and there. There's a lot of stuff going on visually that's still a work in progress, but all of that stuff is kind of expected. We're playing an alpha. It's a very early build, so right now I wouldn't say it's anything to worry about. But yeah, with all of that out of the way, what did we learn from this event? Well, a lot. Really. Too much to cover in one video, as I already said. So we're starting with the Dark Zone, and right off the bat we have something new, because instead of just having one bigger Dark Zone, like we had it in the Division 1, we now have 3 smaller Dark Zones spread across the map. We have one at the east side, one at the south side, and then also one all the way west. We played the ones east and then the south one. We didn't get to see the west one, so I don't have any footage of that. Now obviously these 3 separate Dark Zones...
Okay, whoa. There's a lot of entrances to this Dark Zone. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 entrances? No, 7. I don't know what that one on the left is that says new. That might be the main entrance. So in all it would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 entrances. 2 extractions. 8 entrances and 2 extractions. Now the extractions seem to be in like the open side. You see that? How there's no buildings by the extractions? So, well then it makes sense. Obviously you can't bring a chopper by the fucking buildings.
Aren't going to be as big as the single one that we have in the Division 1, and while it is difficult to get an exact size, if I had to guess, I'd probably say that the playable areas of, you know, these separate Dark Zones are comparable to something like DZO1, DZO2 and DZO3 combined, or maybe DZO8 and DZO9 combined. It's somewhere among those sizes, but it's really difficult to be exact. Now, to compensate for the smaller Dark Zone size, they did also lower the total player count that we can have on any one instance of the Dark Zone. In the Division it was 24, in the Division 2 it's going to be 12, so that's 3.
12 players, that's 3 teams in each Dark Zone, guys. So, as much as I love running away from the server, running away from everybody chasing us, I mean, I don't really have an issue with 12 players, to be honest with you. Although what's gonna happen is if these 2 teams are nowhere near as good as the one team, it's just gonna be a massacre.
3 teams of 4 players, but
it's also gonna create the chance that what if there's 3 teams that are really good players? Dark Zone full of players that are all veteran players could be dope as hell too.
Solo players and group players are still mixed, so it doesn't have to be 3 teams exactly. And while at first sight this might seem like a step back, I actually do think that this is a good thing. In fact, I've already tweeted about this for a very long time, even before I knew much about the Division 2. Because in the Division 1, you know, 24 players is just too much when you put it into an environment like the Dark Zone. There's just no way somebody's going to take on 20 players as a group. It doesn't matter how good you are, especially not with the Rogue 2.0 mechanics. And think of it this way. Yes, the Dark Zone did get smaller, the player count went down, but the density is still the same. You will not have those situations where 20 players will just clump up and wait for one person to go rogue. At the same time, with the smaller zones, you also take away the endless running from north to south or south to north when rogues run out of medkits.
Right. See, that's what I mean. With smaller number of players in the Dark Zone is less running, less having to worry about fucking the whole lobby just coming up to you and not going rogue, you know? So it eliminates a lot of these things.
So the experience will be more consistent this time around. If you're a good group of 4 players, there's also the added benefit that...
I promise you, Brendan, that Marco Styles does not need any credit from me. If I thought he did, I would give him credit. But you know it's Marco, which explains my point more. You know who he is, you know whose video it is, you know where to find it. You think Marco needs my credit, bro? Come on, the man's over 100k subs. Now think before you say something, dummy.
Yeah, you're going to be able to take on 8 players, and if you're good enough, there's no way they're going to be able to kill you because they can't just wait for more and more players to stack up. Fighting 8 players, sure, that's still quite challenging, especially if those players aren't all too bad, but it's a lot better than fighting 20.
God damn it, Marco, you gave me an ad. I know you have money, Marco. You don't need to put it in.
Rogue 2.0 is still in place though. You still have to hold down a button to flag up, so you cannot just shoot anybody.
Assault drone, by the way.
On site without being rogue. And again, you know, versus 20 players, this was a pain, to be honest. It wasn't a very good thing, but versus 8 other players, it might not be that bad, and I'm willing to give it a chance, you know? Let's see where this goes. The rogue mechanics themselves, they have been reworked a bit as well. We still have the normal rogue. You have to, you know, you flag up, you kill somebody. You
right, yes. Like I said, there's different ways to go rogue now.
That's 5 times you get manhunt. That's still all in place. But when
me too, Rusty. Marco and Wiz are definitely the same people.
You also have something a little bit less bad than rogue, but a little bit worse than not being rogue. Something in between. It's the white rogue timer. I'm not sure if there's an official name for it. There probably is.
Yes, the white rogue timer is just regular rogue. When you start killing people, it's called disemboweled rogue.
I might have forgotten on it. But you get this white rogue timer when you do things that are considered selfish, but not super bad as in killing somebody. A good example would be the supply drops. In the Division, you can just secure them and then everybody in your squad gets the loot. But in the Division 2, you have the option to steal the loot for yourself as well by pressing a different button. This will give you, as an individual, more...
Oh, shit! Okay. See, I didn't know that. I didn't know you could steal loot for yourself. Yo, yo, people are gonna get lit up trying to steal these supply drops in the middle of their teammates. So you can either open it and it drops for everybody, or you can steal it and take everything for yourself. That's cool.
Loot, but it will not give anything to anybody else. And something like that is going to trigger a white rogue timer, so to speak. Another good example would be to steal the loot of your teammate that has died to an NPC, or just the loot of a random guy. Somebody else dies. You're just walking by, you get the loot, and then of course it's stolen. You get the white timer because you didn't kill him, but you still did something that isn't 100% nice, so to speak. And yeah, just like the normal rogue timer, players with white rogue timers.
Hey, even if Marco is a geek or what, we appreciate Marco, dude. I don't know about Wiz because Wiz just does gameplay, but Marco like literally does research on this shit. This man measured the dark zones to compare them. We appreciate this guy, alright? This man literally took a ruler and said, let me measure the dark zone in division number 1. Now let me measure the dark zone in division number 2. And let's compare them. That is a lot of fucking work. So we appreciate this man.
Will also be able to get shot down by other players. So you're still a target. You can still kill them. But the punishment for dying as a white rogue isn't as severe, and white rogues also don't show up on the map, so it's not like people are actually coming up to you. It's just, hey, if they see you and they see that timer, they know. They're gonna know.
By the way, this is PS4 gameplay, what you're watching. He said that the footage he got was from PlayStation.
You did something bad. There's also something in the game that's called a rogue den now, or a rogue safe house, which is a specific safe house for players with a white rogue timer. And you can get to that by hacking some terminals around the map. Every time you hack a terminal, you'll get a certain percentage above.
Yep, like I said, so when you go rogue now, you can either clear it at the or at the drop off, or you can sabotage it and get closer to the thieves den, which is like the secret rogue marketplace with the guy that sells you stuff, and then you clear it in there. So it gives you more options when you're rogue.
Your character, and then you hack another one. It goes a little bit up, and it basically keeps going like that. Once you get 100%, you'll be able to enter one of the rogue safe houses, which will then instantly remove the timer. You can only get in this with the white rogue timer. If you kill somebody, then this is not accessible.
Oh, okay. Okay.
To you.
Well, we're still spawning inside each other. That's confirmed. All right, so when you go rogue with the boxes, so when you loot, I guess, I don't know. I feel like we're going to give it a different name. But when you go rogue by looting the boxes, you can't kill anybody if you want to get into this secret, like, thieves safe room. I'm sorry. That's cool. I mean, then, yeah. So, yeah, if you want to get into the secret, like, vendor, you can't kill anybody. You have to go to the drop. Holy shit, that's going to be intense. Because what if you're trying to get to this vendor, but then you got people chasing you because you're rogue? You can't kill them, because if you kill them, you won't get access to this vendor. Yo, that's dope.
In these safe houses.
Hey, remembered, he said it was PlayStation, bro. He might be using an Xbox controller, but he said it was PlayStation.
I think you can buy some special gear if you're high enough level. I didn't.
Yeah, there's non-rogue, there's rogue, there's disemboweled rogue, and then there's manhunt.
Really quite understand what was going on here. And there was also an ammo box which gave you special shock ammo. And we'll
special shock ammo. Yikes.
Get back to that in just a minute, because that's not something I'm all too happy with. As far as manhunts go, you still need to buy off your rogue status, just like in the Division 1. But I played on Xbox, and to be honest, I really...
Oh, now he played on Xbox? He said it was PlayStation at the beginning!
Sucked at the game at my event, so...
Okay, so I guess he played on both. Like I said, but they're giving love to console, dude.
I never got the manhunt, so I have no footage of that. But I spoke to
he said he didn't get a manhunt, dude.
A few of the developers there. And to my understanding, when you go manhunt now, you have 3 places to buy off instead of 1. And when you go to a buy-off point, you can make a choice. Either you buy it off and your manhunt level is gone, or you go for the high-risk move and disable that station, which at that point will leave you with 2 more buy-off points. But then, if you manage to buy off at any of the remaining buy-off points, you get a lot of increased rewards. So,
oh, then maybe I'm just slow, Nick.
So you can do this up until you only have 1 buy-off point left, at which point you'll get the most loot, but it's also the most risky one because...
Yes, so like I said earlier, when you go manhunt, you can either get it off at the first buy-off point, the way he calls it a buy-off point. You can either get it off there, or you can sabotage all 3 of them and get this big reward at the end.
Just like in the Division 1, you can expect a lot of players to camp there to try and kill you as you arrive. I think it's a good evolution of the rogue mechanics. There is a little more gray. There are a little more mechanics.
All right, it was Xbox. Shut the hell up. I'm wrong. My bad, dude. Wasn't paying damn attention.
Next to it, being manhunt is a little more fair because you now have choices of where you want to buy off. So yeah, I'm pretty positive about most of the things. Now something that's also new, and this is actually quite shocking to me, which is a pun, as you'll soon see. What's also new are the turrets that guard every checkpoint now. Yep.
Yeah, we knew them turrets was coming.
I'm not joking. Let it sink in. Every Dark Zone checkpoint is now guarded by a number of turrets.
This is not Left 4 Dead 3, Lewis. Shut the hell up.
Turrets that pretty much kill you in 1 or 2 bullets. And
holy shit, 1 or 2 bullets, you're wallin'.
So shock you, so that once you go on the floor, you cannot crawl away when you're downed for a good amount of time. It of course only targets rogue agents, and when I asked the developers why they implemented this, the response was to stop players from camping the checkpoints. But I guess you figured that out already yourself.
Yikes. Okay, I don't know, boys. Well, we knew already that because of the turrets, we can't camp the checkpoints like we used to in Division 1. But what I'm afraid that's going to happen with these turrets is that when anytime you go rogue, everybody's just going to run into these turrets, right? Because these turrets are made for new players. They're made so that new players have a place to fight and they don't get overrun by these skilled players, right? But what happens when you go rogue and everybody that's in the server just runs behind these turrets? Then you can't do anything, especially if they're this strong. If these turrets are 2-tap like this, bro, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do if you flag up on the team and this team runs into the turrets? You're dead. You can't even chase them. You just gotta stand there rogue while everybody hides behind the turrets. And there's a bunch of entrances. Did you guys see there's like 8 entrances to the dark zone? If there's turrets in each one of those entrances, everybody's hiding. I'm telling you right now, everybody's going to run into these turrets and hide from everybody else.
Now this is something that I'm just not too happy with. When players die in the Division, they have 3 different places to spawn from now. And when they spawn there, you can also fast travel to another checkpoint if you want to still take another
3 spawn points, guys, not 2 anymore.
Approach. If there are rogues in the dark zone, you can see them before stepping through the checkpoint as well.
Okay, Lewis, but the point of the dark zone is to flag up. That is how you get your rewards.
So, if the players die, then go to the checkpoint closest to the rogues, then see the rogues waiting in front of the checkpoint, and then still make the decision to step through the door and then die, well, that's kind of their own fault, isn't it? I'm not saying I don't understand why the developers put the turrets there.
Okay, so what Marco's saying is exactly what everybody else has been saying. We don't understand the point of the turrets because people used to complain about people checkpoint camping, but you realize that in Division 1 you could spawn in different checkpoints, right? If you keep spawning in that same door that's gonna kill you if you come out, that's your fault. Why are they putting these turrets at the doors? For what? You get choices. You can spawn in 3 different locations. It's your own fault if you keep coming out the same door to die. That is what he's talking about. That is why he said he doesn't like it. Because it makes no sense. Even in Division 1, you could spawn at the checkpoint and fast travel somewhere else to hit them from the back or just to move on from them. So if you keep coming out the same door to die, that's on you. Which is why he's saying that he doesn't understand why they put these turrets.
I know why they did it, because a lot of people complain about being checkpoint camped without ever trying to just spawn at a different checkpoint. But I think that this is definitely a step too far. As far as I'm concerned, I think the turrets at the checkpoint argument has always been sort of a meme more than anything else. It's the typical thing you see a new player write down on Reddit who just died a few times because his build was shit and he was shit at the game. I really have no idea how this actually made it into the game.
Oh, for sure, Fab. Obviously, I don't... Dude, listen, at the end of the day, I am playing the shit out of this game, no matter what. If I like a game, I'm gonna play it. We've played Division 1. If you guys are still playing Division 1, if you played it from the beginning, you know how much the game has changed.
Serious feature. It's surprising. But yeah, let's keep it at that. We'll talk about this in the future a little bit more. What's also just as surprising... or just as shocking, is the shock ammo available in the rogue safe houses that I mentioned.
Alright, now about this, I don't know nothing about this, so let's watch this together. Apparently, you can get shock ammo from the vendor at the dark zone. That Thieves Den vendor or whatever. Apparently, there's a box of shock ammo. So, let's watch this together and see what the hell he got to say.
Earlier, you get in the safe house by completing the hacking things, the hacking terminals as a white rogue player, and then you go into the safe house, and then you can load your weapon with shock ammo, and this will instantly shock NPCs and other players on impact for 3 seconds long. The shock is basically as long as a shock grenade without having shock resistance in the Division 1. And since none of the skills or none of the buffs in the game, in the build that I played at least, provided any sort of immunity buff or any way to prevent this other than the shield, I think it is almost impossible to counter shock ammo, and once you're shocked, you're guaranteed dead, because something that I'll talk about in tomorrow's video as well is that the time to kill has been reduced by a lot, which is something that I like, actually, but we'll talk about that stuff tomorrow. Now, as for the shock ammo, I've got no clue why they decided to put this in the game. If it only worked on NPCs, yeah, fine, would be okay. You know, it's a temporary buff for if you just exit the safe house. Fine by me. But having this work on players, that just has to be the biggest cheese you can get in any game.
The biggest
cheese! You either gank someone with this and he has no chance of surviving. No chance whatsoever. You can kill him 100-0 before the shock effect wears off. Or you can, you know...
Wait a second. It's only 1 mag though. Hold on. Wait, that's fine. If it's just for 1 kill, it's okay. But if you get to keep it during the time you're alive or something, it's only 4 bullets, bro. Look it right here. It's only a mag. I don't know why he's complaining. If it's only for 1 kill, then it's fine. You don't think? I feel like if it's only for 1 kill, it should be fine.
By me, but having this work on players, that just has to be the biggest cheese you can get in any game.
Yeah, because look. He has it right now. You see the shock ammo right here? But once he shoots it, it goes away. So I think it's only for 1 kill.
Tank someone with this and he has no chance of surviving. No chance whatsoever. You can kill him 100-0 before the shock effect wears off. Or you can, you know, go to one of these safe houses, get the ammo, and then kill a few manhunts with it that you otherwise wouldn't have been able to kill. Very cheesy. If this stays in the game, well, that would be also very unfortunate, to say the least. The Dark Zones themselves also have some sort of normalization to the gear in place now.
4 bullets
it works
for 4
pretty
players?
much the same as the normalization in Last Stand or Skirmish in the Division 1, where the stats that you have on your gear and the talent choices, they still matter, but the rolls themselves, they're always the same values. They're the same. The developers are really trying to...
Yeah, it might not be a good move now that I think about it. I mean, if it was only for 1 player at a time, then fine. But if all 4 people have the shock, then that's rip.
To push a more fair, a more even playing field within the Dark Zone with the normalization, but the developers are aware that not everybody is going to be a fan of this, especially not the hardcore audience. So if you're a part of the hardcore audience, listen up, because this video is about to get a little bit better. Since we have 3 different Dark Zones in the Division 2, the developers decided to make one of those 3 Dark Zones extra dangerous.
Yeah.
Which Dark Zone it is, that always differs a bit. You know, on Monday it could be the East.
I told you, one of the 3 Dark Zones is going to be the occupied Dark Zone, which means it's extra dangerous. It's where everything goes.
Dark Zone that's more dangerous. On Wednesday it could be the South Dark Zone. But what's important to know is that out of the 3 Dark Zones, one of them is always dangerous. And this Dark Zone is going to be called the Occupied Dark Zone. That's the name they gave it. The Occupied Dark Zone comes with a different set of rules that will appeal more to the hardcore players. For one, all the turrets, the shock turrets and the checkpoints that I talked about, they're disabled there. Second up, gear normalization will also be disabled, so any god rolls that you might have are actually worth something.
Yep, no turrets, no normalization.
And then rule number 3, friendly fire is also disabled, so we pretty much go back to the old days of the Division 1 Dark Zone at launch, with all the good and the bad that comes with it. They didn't mention anything about the shock ammo in the occupied Dark Zones though. But even in a normal Dark Zone, I don't think that any player should have shock ammo that actually shocks players on impact for 3 seconds long. So either way, this is something that I want to see altered to only work on NPCs. There's just no discussion about this. While I was at Massive, Julian Garrity, think I pronounced that right, not sure, also told us in a presentation that
No game chat for the boys, dude! They took off game chat. No! No more toxic videos for the boys, dude. No more people telling me they effed my mom. No.
Division 2, VoIP will be disabled in the Dark Zone, which means that you can't really talk to anybody that's not in your squad. Again, I can see why the developers have decided to do this, and if you can't, well then let me just show you this quick clip.
Come 1v1, come.
Easy, Marco, easy.
Down, motherfucker, shit.
You are a fucking hacker, bitch. Suck my dick, bitch.
Shit. Fuck you, stop editing.
But that is why we love it.
Go to phone. Video is movie. Movie is very good to be soft by account.
Fuck your mom, Ines, motherfucker. Fuck your mom, Ines.
No.
God damn it, he put another ad.
But you motherfucker. Fuck your videos, you fucking ill-will. Go play Mary, you motherfucker.
But despite of having situations like that, I think that having VoIP enabled is also part of what made the Dark Zone unique. A lot of players almost went into the Dark Zone just for those type of interactions, myself included sometimes, and I think that removing VoIP altogether takes something away from the game. For every bad experience with VoIP, there are also 2 good ones that wouldn't have been possible without it. And if you want to fight toxicity,
no more fan reactions, no.
More, well then just allow us to permanently mute players and
they should just, dude, I don't understand. They give you an option to mute people. You can turn your VoIP off. If you don't want to hear people, turn it off.
not have players be unmuted the moment that you log off and then log back on in the next session, right? That's something that the Division 1 struggles with at the moment. Not to mention, there's of course the option to just enable and disable VoIP per player. We already have it in the Division 1. If you don't want to be bothered by mean things that mean people say on the internet,
mean things that mean people say on the internet,
then you can turn VoIP off and problem solved. Or have it disabled by default so that players who are...
Yes, exactly. I don't understand. They give you the option. Why will they take it off? Just mute people if you don't want to hear them.
New to the game and just want to explore the dark zone just for the first time, they won't be greeted with those type of situations right away, which might then make their first impression of the dark zone worse than what it would have been. But, you know, keep the option there so that players who want VoIP can turn it on manually, knowing the potential risks that it brings. As far as the technical aspects go, Julian did tell us about some improvements that they've made to both the servers and the anti-cheat. They said that they're going to add more servers in more locations for a more consistent experience, and that they also have proper anti-cheat now. But yeah, I didn't get much
They have proper anti-cheat now. Oh.
Details as to what that all means. So I cannot comment on all of that right now.
I hope they add the voice chat in later updates. I really hope.
And oh yeah, aside from the Dark Zone, as I said, there's Skirmish and Domination. Both are 4v4 game modes. Skirmish is basically like Deathmatch. Domination is zone control with 3 points that you gotta capture to get points. The maps that we play on are actually made separate from the open world, so they're specifically designed for these game types this time around, and not just, you know, some West Side Pier adaptation. But other than that, I don't think that these game types are too special. They're just PvP for people that want it. And that's pretty much what I learned about the Dark Zone and the PvP in the Division 2 while I was over at Massive. But there's just so much more that I still want to talk about. I've got videos prepared for tomorrow, the day after tomorrow, and the day after that.
Of course.
We're going to talk about the skills, the general feel for the game, some of the decisions that they've made going forward with the Division 2. So make sure to check those out if you're interested. And also, before I go, I want to give a big thank you to Joe from NGN Gaming. He was also at the event, and he not only helped me test stuff within the game, but he also shared all of his footage with me so that I could make more detail.
Alright, yeah, dude. Pretty much. Hey, I don't mind it, to be honest with you. To me, it seems fine. Hey, his thumbnails are lit, though. That's a clean-ass thumbnail. But anyways, I don't know, dude. It looks... I don't know. So, in summary, before I end this stream, make sure you guys drop a sub if you're new, by the way, if you haven't already. But in summary, the Division 2 Dark Zone, right? Okay. Rogue 2.0 is still a thing. Yes, Rogue 2.0. You still have to click your shoulder to go rogue. That is still a thing. Okay. Number 2. There is non-rogues, there is regular rogue, and then there's disavowed rogue and manhunt, okay? There's different ways to go rogue. You can either do the loot run rogue, where you steal certain items from boxes that makes you go rogue, okay? Then once you do that, you can go to these drop-offs and you can sabotage them, and if you sabotage all 3, you get access to this like new vendor that's in the Dark Zone that lets you get these things called shock bullets, and I guess you can buy other stuff in there, and it also clears the rogue that way, right? Obviously shock bullets seem like they're gonna be OP. You get to shock somebody on impact, like literally they get shocked for like 3 whole seconds, which is a lot in a game that the kill time is so fast. So anyways, the other way to go rogue is by disavowing, like I said. So you go rogue, you hold the button, you kill people, you get manhunt, right? But you can go and get extra loot by sabotaging these drop-offs again, but you will not get access to the safe room, the thief's safe room, or whatever the hell it's going to be called. So if you want to get into that safe room, you can't kill other players. As we saw in Marco's video, he said that if you kill someone, then you don't get access to that safe room. So there's 2 ways to go rogue. 2 out of the 3 Dark Zones are going to be normalized, which means everybody's gear is going to be balanced to a certain point. Nobody's going to be overpowered by another player unless you are in that third dark zone, which is going to be called the occupied dark zone, right? So 2 out of the 3 dark zones is going to be for players who want to have a more balanced PvP experience and, you know, not to worry about somebody being overpowered or being stronger than them, right? But one of those dark zones is going to be called an occupied dark zone, where there is going to be friendly fire. There is going to be no balancing. The NPCs are going to be stronger, which is why he called it an extra dangerous dark zone. So that, to me, that's pretty cool, that there's going to be the one dark zone where all the hardcore players are going to be at. All right. And then what else was there? Oh, there's the organized PvP, which is domination and scrimmage. So there's a scrimmage where both teams have a certain amount of lives, and the first team to reach 0 loses. And then there's domination, kind of like every other domination you've ever heard of, where there's 3 objectives and each team has to capture the objectives and you get points like that. So, but yeah, that is pretty much the dark zone so far. Honestly, I'm looking forward to it, bro. Even if 2 out of the 3 dark zones is going to be normalized, it should still be fun. Also the turrets at the damn doorways. There's the turrets at the doorways that blocked. Honestly, if those turrets are as OP as Marco said, because he said the turrets are 2-shot, so you get shot twice by that turret and you're dead. So I don't know, but yeah, so that's pretty much it. I will be uploading the video of me explaining the new dark zone stuff in the more simplistic way. Obviously, if you guys want to watch a more in-depth video, Marco will probably make one. He already made one. So like I said, if you guys want to watch a more in-depth kind of video, you can watch theirs, but I will upload mine. This is more simplistic. I kind of just say it overall, you know, for the players that have been playing Division 1, we understand by just simple things. But anyways, guys, thank you guys for being here. I will end this stream. If you guys are new, please drop a sub, and do me a favor, if you haven't followed me on Twitch, please follow me on Twitch. I just started streaming on Twitch a few days ago. It's going to be like my 5th stream on Twitch, so please follow me on Twitch. Please drop a sub on the channel, click the bell button if you haven't already. Thank you for stopping by. I know there's a lot of new faces here lately because of the whole Division 2 hype, so please stick around, watch some of my videos. I do comedic content that makes people laugh, so if you're interested in that, you can go watch that. But alright guys, thank you guys for stopping by. I hope you guys learned something. All the original videos are in the Division Ubisoft page, so you can just go to YouTube, search up Ubisoft, and the original videos are there. You go to Ubisoft North America, and here are the 4 Division videos, or 5, however you want to go watch them. So anyways, alright guys, catch you guys later. I will be streaming on Twitch like I said, so please drop a sub, follow me on Twitch, and have a good day. See you guys later.